We are rolling.
We're rolling. I think it's SlapperCast episode 380. Am I right?
Yeah, 380.
380, kids. Try hold your breath for that many years. Actually, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. We've lost some good people. We are Blaggards. This is the #1 rock and roll podcast in the absolute in anything. Oh, did he already curse? Shouldn't be cursing on a day like today. We took a lineup that we've never played with up to let's just call it northbound, and when we arrived in the vicinity of that town that we're not crazy about, the town I never loved at all. Yeah, we had some difficulties, but we had some triumphs, and we all in all, my slumber, if it's any God, I just can't remember when I slept like that last. I think it might have been the womb, and that would have been about 93 years ago. So thanks, Ma, for that. But yeah, that was a knockout sleep. Yeah, usually it's tossing and turning. Oh well, should have done this. Oh shit, but man, out like a light. So we finished up at Gillespie's at a little after 10, and we. The encore, and then loaded up the truck and head back home. And what time we home? We were even home before 3.
Yeah, it was like 2:45 or something.
Yeah,
in Huntsville.
Well, yeah. But still,
so, and I got home at 4:30, 4:26 or something like that.
Yeah, but did you stop anywhere?
No, we just drove straight. Keith drove me home, and then he drove home.
Okay. So yeah, so there you go. It's Keith York. I'm going to say the most memorable of all. The thing I'll never forget from this weekend was it's fun not being the oldest person in the band for a little while, and Keith's a little older than me.
Yes.
And he had some friends from high school that came out, and that said we're going over 60 years ago, and he played his ass off. We I quipped that we gave him 50 songs and we played none of them. We gave him all these songs and we just played whatever the hell we want. But he hung in there like a champ. Keith York is a Houston legend for a reason. The bands and the scene that he helped create and cultivate and just blossom in Houston, Texas and beyond is staggering. The names that he's played with, the songs and the genres and the clubs and the miles and the friends and the art and the craft that this man has grown and kept alive, and and you can tell by his execution how much he loves what he does, and you can tell by his friends that we met yesterday. We shook hands with a lot of them and we looked them in the eye, and they said that Keith is one of their favorite people. And he hadn't seen some of them in 15 years. I mean, like many, many years. And they came out to see him. And and I hope he won't get mad at me for saying this, but it did bring him to tears. And a lovely young lady named Jen and her friend Lisa brought that to my attention mid-banter. They had said, hey, you might want to just take a minute here. Because Keith was visibly brought to tears by the emotions of his past and his friends that had shown up, and because they're all pretty close and they stay pretty close throughout the years, and people that get to a certain age really take their friendships so much more serious. I saw a Scottish comedian. I saw a Scottish comedian utter these words. He says, well, once I got past my teens, I just stopped taking friends in. He said, I've no more room. And that's it's funny when you think of it like that. You do meet people that you grow fond of, and you perhaps engage with often. But those friends that you meet when you're young, I mean, when I go home to Ireland and I see the people that I used to hang around with, even if we haven't talked for 20 years, that bond is still there. There's still that connection. There's still that, and you utter these words, man. I would still take a bullet for these people. They're still so. The anyway, so I mean, I could go on forever, but it was just beautiful to watch. Not only Keith play these songs in a way that we haven't played them before, but not only exude, but also to be able to harness what we're giving him and to recreate it in a Keith York. The only way Keith York could do. So today on Slapper Day 380, I'm so grateful to Keith York for the amount of energy that he used and the amount of brain power that he's used to take these songs and to do with him what he did. Also, I want to acknowledge too Turbo, who's been so generous with his time, even though, and for the record, I don't know if it's just amazing. Oh yeah, how's Trevor? Did he have the surgery? No, he hasn't had the surgery. He has to have a month off. This is the last time we're saying it. I know I'm sick of it, so I know he is. But no, he's gotta have a month off. He's got to get ready for the surgery. Then he's going to have the surgery the middle of this month, June, merry month of June, and then he's going to have minimum 6 months, of rehabilitation and physical therapy, and he's by the book. He's not going to take any shortcuts because he knows that it's going to. He's got a beautiful young family. He's pretty old, but they're all young and vibrant. But he is he wants to not only provide for them, but he wants to enjoy his time with them. So he's not going to take any shortcuts. He's not going to miss out on basketball training with Miles, or hanging out with Brody doing his thing and Caden doing his thing. His three boys are tremendously different, but they're all incredibly Stacy and Turbo. They've got just great mixes of all of them. They've all got great humor, great energy, great artistic abilities. They've got incredible minds. They're all A students. They're all just a really dynamic family, and we're so proud of that crew. But Turbo's been really generous with his time for us, not just Blaggards, but us as friends, and also for Keith and for James and for Mike McALOON and for all these people that we've been talking to. He's been great with that.
Yeah.
So Chad, shut up. Let me get a word in. What's going on over there?
Man, I'm just reeling from the weekend. It was a intense couple of days that we were, understandably nervous about, since there's only so much you can do, even with the best talented people, when you only have time for a couple of rehearsals with a repertoire and as big and strange as ours. And I just had so much fun this past couple of days. There is a certain kind of, because whenever we have a drummer that has only played, is only sort of marginally familiar with our stuff, you have to, both Patrick and I have to keep an eye on him because he's keeping an eye on us too. So, but there is a certain kind of fun in like basically conducting. It can be stressful, but sometimes it's really fun. Like some of the conducting and playing that I was doing, going back for particularly like in a.
Is this a sex move? What are you talking about? What's this?
Yeah, this is well, there's sign language that we do. Both you and I do this. This is kick. Bump, bump, bump. It just reduces it a kick. Every drummer knows what this means. It's pretty cool. That's one thing you don't have to explain. But I was like figuring out how to do, without even really telling him. I was like, this is polka. He got that, and I just tried to do different body language to kind of help him remember what the next section was if he was lost. And but he did, way better than I thought he would with some of the ones that he was a little unclear on in rehearsal, because our songs are not easy to learn, especially in a short period of time. They don't, arrangement wise, they don't really make sense even to trained musicians. I'm remembering when Pat Brennan came in to do keys on Blagmatic, and he sat down and listened to Spancel Hill for the first time. And it's not, to us, it's not that complicated. It's just E minor, G, and D. It's just a 3-chord song. But where the chord changes fall is not what most musicians would expect. And I never realized how complicated it was until I watched Pat trying to figure it out on the fly. So that's true with anybody. You like, wait, what is this? And then we complicate it even further with stuff like Kerfuffle by throwing in different meters, different patterns, key changes, weird stops, and off time stops and upstrokes and so forth. So those things are not easy to communicate on the fly. but we still had a great time. And like Patrick was saying, Keith is a tremendously warm person and really fun to watch. So even when he was confused, like he would make a mistake, people were watching him and being just entertained by the unexpected, the spontaneity of what was happening on stage. I think that added a layer of entertainment to it, to
Well,
what
like,
was already there.
yeah,
So
just like Turbo, he's a showman, and he's also he
yeah,
doesn't he doesn't he doesn't go through the motions in a song. He'll deliver that song to your face, to your soul, to your to the room. It's not. He's never. Again, it's playing with musicians that care about music. We talked about this a lot on the stage, and if you saw us at the Pub McDonough in Granbury, Texas last Friday, Granbury is actually a beautiful town. It's a beautiful little town, and Mary and Kevin have done just the most amazing job putting this pub together. We first played there, and it was a tent, and it was a structure that they were building, but they wanted to get the pub going early. They wanted to get there. They wanted to build a pub, build a community of. They are true publicans. They went to Ireland. I said publicans. That's what I said. They went to Ireland and they did their research. Mary had the vision, and she would not be. Not that she got any, you know, resistance, but she had that vision in her head. And let me tell you, the pub is not just beautiful. The staff are not just well trained. They have it's finely manicured. It's got outside and inside. It's got a hoolie room, which is essentially like an ice house separate, and then the pub is gorgeous inside. They keep it so well. It's clean. It's really very excited about getting back there and getting back there soon. Granbury, Texas, the Pub McDonough. Look it up. Food out of this world. Hospitality second to none. So that was Friday. Saturday, Gillespie's, and you've heard us talk about it on and on over and over again. The gang at Gillespie, which incidentally, we've just booked Friday, the 25th of September, halfway to Paddy's, Gillespie's. Just booked that 2 minutes before SlapperCast. And we had talked to Romer just a minute ago. Just said, hey, what about this? Because we had talked to our friend Darren from Louisville, and he's put us back on Western days this year. So it's going to be the Saturday. So we're going to go anyway. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And Gillespie's is, again, great food. Yeah, are you starting to see a trend here? We don't go anywhere with
yeah,
a shared site.
the food's crap.
Yeah, the food. They're so generous, and the crowd are so generous. The crowd is so generous. I can't get. I can't. Not just all these people that drive such long distances to come and see us. And I mean, there was 5-6 hour drives from people coming in to see. It blows me away. And we will not stop doing this. And I can't say it enough. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lovers, gentle lovers, slapheads, we have to keep this live music alive. There's such great bands in there. Romer keeps that schedule full. There's music on Friday and Saturdays at Gillespie's. Same thing with the Pub McDonough. They're not messing around. They're doing great music. They're doing they're supporting their acts, they're advertising, they're working day and night at this. They're not just throwing this AI bullshit, this AI slop on the computer and saying, well, we told them. No, they're continuing to build their clientele with great service, with a true Irish pub atmosphere. The Gillespie's is, it's a large room, but they've got the furniture is really comfortable. Same thing with McDonough, but it's comfortable, and it's the kind of place where you can come in business attire, you can come in shorts and a t-shirt, and you're welcome. And it's 7 days a week, and we're spoiled in that regard, but we want to keep doing this. We want to keep building this, and we were lucky enough to have Gillespie sold out again. What I mean by sold out means that all the tables are reserved. However, the bar staff, tremendous as well. They you can still get drinks and you still come in, but the tables are gone. So but that delicious food, you can sit outside too and have the great food. But this live music thing, man, it's catching on. and we're
Yeah.
going to keep adding to it. And another thing too, we performed some songs that the punters might not have seen. I know they haven't seen before. A lot of people saw a lot of new
Yeah.
crap, so we were very excited, very nervous, and seemed to go over very, very well. And just all in all, I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this whole weekend. I'm going to give it a B plus. High marks for me. Uh, and the only reason why it's not
Yeah.
higher than that is yeah, somebody's
Well,
anyway.
yeah.
Let's move
Yeah.
on.
I would say A in the A range would be obviously fully rehearsed and like the people actually, a full time lineup, because we can be A plus lineup and still have a B minus show too. It depends on what the hell's going on. So
Yeah.
this B plus for this, yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yep.
Anyway, all right, what are we talking about now? Where are we moving?
Well, so if you're watching this today on beautiful Slapper Day 380, tomorrow at Big Top, which is the first week of June in 2026, the Wednesday we're going to be at Big Top, and another brand new lineup, never seen before. We're going to be using the one, the only Mr. Jam and Justice on drums. He is, I don't want this to sound too effeminate, but that is one sexy dog back there. He is,
Yeah.
oh my God. Not only is his drumming out of this world, but man, that guy can, that guy could demolish a building just by his just with his mind. He's brilliant. It's the drummer from Lonefeather, and you know that we're huge Lonefeather. Do you have a T-shirt on that might say as much?
I do, in fact. Yes.
Look at that! Look at that! Woo! Even I'm feeling a little bit of moisture, but they are easily one of our favorite Houston bands, and they're not getting near enough daylight, spotlight, sunlight, moonlight, Michelob Light. Fuck that. They are so tight. The originals are so original, but it's all done with so much power thanks to Justice Swartner, and we're going to have the great pleasure of playing with him
Yeah.
on Wednesday, the Big Top. No cover charge, early start. So please come in to see us and Lone Feather. And then Thursday, the one, the only, it's going to be the Magic Mike show. Yes, we're going to have the Magic Mike the Machine McALOON on drums with Jeff, Aloysius, Monstrosity, Tumultuous, Leprechaun, Duncan on fiddle. He is going to be joining us. We are going to be at T-Bone Tom's.
Yes.
If you are hearing this, if you are feeling this, if you can even imagine this, I would call right now, T-Bone Tom's, reserve a table. It will have nowhere. So another one where I would suggest if you can't get a table, come on in, get a drink. Staff are wonderful. Drinks are great. And Jeff does an amazing job. Jeff Sarwain, the manager, also our Jeff. But just the staff are always top of their game. Food is out of this world. It is number one for a reason. T-Bone Tom's, Kemah, Texas, this Thursday. So Wednesday, Big Top. Thursday, T-Bone Tom's. What time does that show start?
6 o'clock on Thursday.
6 o'clock on Thursday. So
T-Bone
8
Tom.
o'clock on Wednesday, 6 o'clock on Thursday. And then Saturday, we are going to be in... That says Home Sweet Farm. We're going to be back, and we are going to be bringing with us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, slapperheads, and lovers, gentle lovers. Guess who we're going to be bringing with us? We're going to be bringing... Tell them, Chad, who are we bringing?
We're bringing Keith York.
Keith York.
And Frank, the lineup that we have this weekend.
And
which
Frankie
like
Sartain.
Patrick was saying, is essentially, I mean, obviously we've been playing with Frank for a couple of years, but when you introduce a wild card like Keith York, it's essentially like creating a whole new lineup. Like it's because you have to kind of recreate everything, and that's what we have. But anyway, so that lineup is coming back on Saturday at Home Sweet Farm. It's going to be really fun. And Keith York, talking about people meeting old friends. He has a long history, not in just in Houston, but all over this circuit. this Texas circuit, and he had a
Yeah.
long history with playing in bands in Brenham, so he's been really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a great turnout and a really fun show.
Yeah. So no show should be missed. So when we play with Mike and Jeff in Kima on Thursday, we're going to be doing the songs a lot different than you know them now. We're going to go back to, we're going to take a step back in time when Magic Mike was with us, on a permanent basis. So it's going to be very, very fun to hear those old arrangements. It's going to be extremely fun watching the contortions of faces trying to hold this shit together at this, trying to
Yes,
remember, so it is,
yeah,
without a doubt, it's just going to be such a fun week. I'm so looking forward to it. It's yeah, we're not messing around. This is going to be lights out.
yeah, and all these shows, it's just 3 drummers 1 week. We probably will be playing with Justice again, but with Mike, we're not really sure when we're going to be able to play with him again, because what's happening beyond June right now with the band is has a lot of question marks after it, because there's a lot of question marks in the band right now and in general, because we're not sure when Turbo's coming back. But Mike is a busy guy. He's a dad, and he's got a full-time job and stuff. But hopefully Mike will be able to play with us again. But we don't know if or when. So if you want to see him play with us, you got to come to Kima this week.
Yeah, Mike, we will get Mike again to do another one of these. We have to find the correct venue. First off, like Chad said, obviously we have to find the time. He has to find the
Yeah.
time, but most importantly, we have to find the right venue, because when we play with Mike, there's a ton of stuff that we just don't do anymore, and it was just mind blowing. I know Chad and I were looking at each other like, "What? We did that?" So that's gonna be really fun watching these old arrangements and trying to hang on for dear life as we. And it was cool, because
Mm-hmm.
Mike stepped away from the band. He had his son and he had his full time job, and there was just no way to continue. So he was able to just kind of step off, and then and then just be, well, we changing lineups and running around. So now we're going back to, and he's just stepping right back into what we were, hopefully what we were. We were. So it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
T-Bone Toms
Yeah.
this Thursday is going to be it's going to be hilarious. As
Yeah.
far as
And this is not just us. There's a couple of songs we're playing with him that we haven't played literally since he left the band. But there's also arrangements of songs that we still are playing, but we're going to rewind our brains back to how we played them 6 years ago, which is going to be a magic trick that we'll be performing in front of you in real time. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great fun. So you have to be there. Do not
Yes,
miss this show.
yes, and I again, I don't know what protocol is there, but I'm 99% sure that you can still come in and drink at the bar, or what because I believe wholeheartedly that these tables will be gone if you don't make your reservations now. T-Bone Tom's, Kima, Texas, reserve those tables. Yeah, and then I don't want to keep blathering on about this stuff. This has been such a thrill to play with these drummers that we haven't played with before. Where a lot of people remember just the amazing talents of Mr. James Edwards. We rehearsed with him last week. James has not only improved, and he was top drawer back then, but he
Yeah.
is heads and shoulders above where he was. I mean, Chad, I
Mhm.
exaggerate. That's not a fucking word of fluff, right?
No, no. It's funny. I was thinking about this while we were rehearsing with him last week. That when he first came and played with us back in 2007, or actually it was late 2006, I think was the first time. He hadn't really, he wasn't a one trick pony, but he hadn't played a lot of the styles of music that we had, because obviously those of you who know us, we don't have one style. We have a myriad of styles that get blended together and juggled
Yeah.
around. And one of those styles that we have a lot of songs that are train, which is we call that train. It's a snare pattern, and all of our drummers have to be really good at playing a train because there's a lot of train stuff going on. Sometimes it goes on for a long time when we have those medley songs. But Jimbo hadn't had a whole lot of experience playing a train. It just wasn't. It wasn't called for in Moses Guest and a lot of the other stuff that he was familiar with playing. Jazz. There's no trains in jazz music, for example. At least not the way we play it. So he had to get that under his skin, and that was a challenge for him back then. Now his train is butter. I don't know if he's been working on that specifically, but that's one thing that's improved. But he also just seems much more relaxed as a player in general because he is more relaxed as a person. I mean, this is ages ago. This was pretty much 20 years ago that we played with him the first time. We were younger people, a little bit more. His life was kind of unsettled back then. Like, there's just a lot of stuff going on in his life. So now he's very relaxed and just ready to dive into this. And it's going to be really interesting revisiting this working friendship and working relationship with him after so much time. It's kind of rare. I mean, how often does this happen? One thing I can only think of, I haven't heard a whole lot of stories about what this was like, but when Ron, I can't remember his name, the original bass player for Tom Petty, I can't remember his last name, but he left in the early 80s just because he just wanted to do something else. And then he came back like 20 years later when when Howie Epstein died. His replacement passed away, and so Ron came back. I imagine that must have been really, really trippy for the band after so long, having their original bass player come back. That's kind of what this is like. It's about the same stretch of time. So anyway, there's so many crazy things happening with the band this summer and possibly into the fall. So y'all stay tuned. This is going to be really interesting. We don't know what's going to happen. We just know it's going to be fun. And I can't wait to play with all these guys.
Yeah, so we're always grateful to have you along here for SlapperCast, especially at 380. We have spoken to to many people along the way, and we're going to start throwing in these little segments where we can get these people on and just talk about all these things that we're talking about, because we strongly believe, we wholeheartedly believe, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for live music as well. Nobody would be listening or watching or coming to shows, blah blah blah. We're obviously trying to kick a little bit more life into this because it's violently important to get these shows, just get more attendance at these shows, because it's such a huge such a huge part of life, and people are just getting very, very, very complacent. I'll see it next week. When we spoke with Keith York about his musical journey, and you listen to some of these bands that he saw, that, please blank this, but that motherfucker saw Queen, he saw Thin Lizzy
at the same show.
He saw Thin Lizzy open for Queen. He saw, he's seen
Yeah.
he's seen the Who. He's seen all these bands, and he's a huge prog guy. But he's seen all these bands that you just, I'm an old guy, and they just seem so prehistoric to me. And he's talking about these bands, April Wine, and on and on and on. These great bands, and he watched them. He watched them as a kid, and he still loves them, and he still has the T-shirt. He still has the T-shirt. So music is, and we talk to musicians all the time. Go, yeah, man, I had a horrible cold and thing, and we played a rock and roll show. And guess what? It was gone. It's medicinal. It's spiritual. It is animal. It is every single thing. It's just the greatest. And we're going to continue to try and improve and to try to bring you a better show every single time. This is SlapperCast. You're watching. We are so grateful to you for watching. And also the generosity, everybody's generosity at these places. And you online, you've been so generous to us. I think the last 3 or 4 tours have been fully funded coffee wise by you all, and we're
Yes,
so grateful, so caffeinated. So thank you. Anyway, you've given us your time on SlapperCast. grateful. And this is young Smalley. We did talk to Turbo about getting him on today, but he was working on his knee, like I said. He was working on his knee. He apologized for not being here, but he will be on the next one. We're going to grab him for sure. So please join us this week if you can. Wednesday, Big Top. Thursday, T-Bone Tom's. Saturday, we're going to be in Brenham at Home Sweet Farm. And we're going to also have a lot of new shit, a lot of stuff you haven't heard before. It's going to be a lot of fun. So join us. And thanks to Frank, thanks to Keith, thanks to Chad, thanks to all the clubs, thanks to everybody for coming out in those distances, and Grammy for sharing your birthday with us, and and the tips. I mean, thank you. That was just so generous. So anyway, we'll talk to you all very, very soon. I know there's more to get to, but you've given us enough of your time. Chad, thanks for being here, and we'll see you all on the next SlapperCast, if not before. Cheers.
Cheers. See you next week.
Indeed.